In 1997, following guidelines of the one-child policy in place in China, Xiaoping Sha immigrated to Canada for the birth of his second child. He left behind his family, his job, his friends, and a part of himself in China, and faced the uncertainty of a new country head-on. His first job in America was based in Troy, Michigan. His daily commute consisted of an hour-long drive from Ontario into the United States through the Detroit Tunnel. Every day he would approach the border officials with his broken English and his lunch held in his hand, signaling that he was entering the country peacefully. It was Xiaoping's first day at his new job. His wife could clearly tell something was on his mind. "What's bothering you?" she asked in Chinese. "Are you nervous?" "No, I'm not nervous. It's nothing I haven't done before," he responded. "It's just this lunch. Are you sure this is what people here eat at work?" He gave his sandwich and apple another glance. "Yes, it is, trust me. Everyone here eats a simple lunch just to hold them over until dinner. It's not like back home, where we're used to sit down with all our friends to enjoy an hour-long meal." Xiaoping thought back to his lunch breaks in China. He would typically gather a few of his best friends and go out to a local restaurant. There would be more dishes than people, and they would eat for more than an hour, catching up on their days, their families, and the news. It was more than just a meal. It was time away from work and the daily routine. It was the time to relax. He reached the border using the route he had practiced numerous times that week. He approached the border patrol with his lunch in his passenger seat. A border patrol official waved his car to a stop and stood by his open window. "Hello, sir. Is there anything in the car?" "Hello, sir. Lunch? Here. Nothing else," Xiaoping replied. The officer took a glance through the car. "Okay, pull up to the window with your passport, and have a nice day." Xiaoping had a rather uneventful first day. He had the typical first day meetings with his bosses and neighboring cubicles. The time came for lunch quicker than he thought. He began to see people rise from their desks with their multicolored lunch bags and walk towards the cafeteria. He gathered his own lunch from his bag and followed the crowd of silent coworkers. Xiaoping looked around the lunchroom. He looked at the stark white tables and metal benches, with people reading the newspaper or watching a show with headphones on. Small groups whispered to each other about work, scared to disrupt the harsh silence that ruled over them. Scared of attracting too much attention, he quickly found an empty table on the side and sat down with his lunch. He took out his meager meal and, with his eyes kept low, quickly swallowed his sandwich and apple and left. As he walked back to his desk, he noticed how many people sat in their cubicles with their lunches, instead of tolerating the tranquility of the lunchroom. He noticed how many people ate their lunches without taking their eyes off of their computer screens. Lunch here, he thought, had lost its meaning. It had become just another part of the routine, so ingrained in their day that it blended in with work. As he walked up the stairs to his apartment, he smelled his dinner before he had even reached his floor. His stomach rumbled as he thought about the tasteless lunch he had earlier. He eagerly opened the door and inhaled the delicious scents of baked fish, fried pork, and dumplings. His wife walked over from the kitchen and kissed him on the cheek. "How was your first day at work? Did you meet any nice people? How was your lunch I made you? Was it enough?" "I'll tell you about it over dinner," he responded, already drifting towards the loaded table of delicacies. The next morning, Xiaoping got up and walked into the kitchen. He ate his breakfast, already thinking about his dreaded lunch break at work. As he opened the fridge to get his packed lunch, he noticed all of the leftover dishes wrapped up from last night's dinner. Leftovers that would most likely be tossed out in favor of the fresh dinner his wife would prepare for tonight. An idea struck him, and he started pulling out all the plates of leftovers and stacking them on the counter. He picked up the stack and began walking to the door. "What are you doing?" his wife asked him. "Are you taking those to work? You still have an hour before you have to leave." "Yes, we have a party at work today, and I was going to go early and drop off the food," he responded. "Okay, honey, have a nice day." He left on his commute, already planning out his idea. He reached the border in no time. Another border official waved him down. "Hello, sir. What is that smell?" Xiaoping pointed to the tall stack of dishes in the passenger seat. "Just lunch here." The officer looked at the dishes and responded, "Well, it smells wonderful. Pull up to the window with your passport and have a nice lunch." He swiped into the building and greeted the receptionist. The office was almost empty, with just a few cleaning staff preparing for the day. He opened the lunchroom and turned on the lights. He walked up to the front row of tables and arranged them in a long row. He placed his dishes in a line and unwrapped them. The smell of Chinese food filled the room. He quickly left to his cubicle and began working. Today, he anticipated lunch. He couldn't wait until his coworkers got up and began walking to the cafeteria. The time came quickly, and he once again followed the crowd of people into the lunchroom. The first thing he noticed was the chatter. He could hear people talking and laughing before he even opened the door. The scene today was completely different. The tables and chairs were pushed aside against the walls. Everyone was standing in groups and had plates in their hands filled with food, and they were actually talking to each other. He noticed a number of plates on the front table that weren't his. As he stood at the door taking in the room, his boss walked up to him. "Hey, Xiaoping, looks like it's somebody's birthday or something. There's food at the front. Come with me, I want you to meet some people." He led Xiaoping to a group at the front of the room, the same group that Xiaoping saw talking quietly in the corner just the day before. As he approached, he noticed them joking and laughing loudly. They accepted him happily, and the group talked for more than an hour. As he drove home, he thought about what a difference today had been. He realized that tomorrow he would look forward to lunch. He called his wife on the way. "Hi, honey. I'm really hungry today. We had a really long meeting at work. Could you cook up some extra food?"